If you're a vegetarian and still confused about protein, this video is for you. Vegetarian protein feels limited. When we say vegetarian protein, people often think about paneer, tofu, and expensive Greek yogurt. But in real life, vegetarian protein has a whole lot of variety. It is dal, curd, milk, nuts and seeds, chana, tofu, paneer, and so on. Things that are already in most of our kitchen.
In this video, we are going to break down common vegetarian protein options and the amount of protein in each serving of those, which one of these are budget ones and which one of these are some nice extras. Quick disclaimer, we will be using Sydney prices and common nutritional info. Think of this as a trend and not exact numbers. And as always, this is not a medical advice, this is just for education purposes only.
You don't have to track any of this if you don't want to. If you're happy with what you eat, you do not have to change anything.
This is for people who want to try and get a lot more protein in their diet and who are curious about finding ways to get their protein without turning their life into a maths project. So let's get into it. So we've broken down this video into 4 sections. The first section is dal and legumes. Dal is one of the most boring yet a very powerful protein source for vegetarians. You've got so many different kinds of dals, starting from tur dal, masoor dal, chana dal, moong dal, and then green moong, chana, and black chana, white chana. What else have we got? Rajma. So there's a variety of it. About 100 grams of any of these would have anywhere from 20 to 25 grams of protein. Some may have a bit more, some may have a bit less. This is just an approximate number. And when I said 100 grams, this is 100 grams of uncooked or dry dal or dry legume variety. One can't have about 100 grams in one go. A decent serving size would be 50 grams if you want dal to do protein heavy lifting for you. So 50 gram of uncooked dal or legume should give you anywhere from 8 to 12 grams of protein. Some again could be more or less. The trick here is the serving size and the consistency of the dal. When you cook your dal with water, make it into a creamy, thick dal and not just that watery dal. Watery dal is not going to cut it for your protein intake. Try and have about 50 grams of uncooked dal, and that should add to your protein intake. Now, coming to the cost, dals are usually very cheap per 10 gram of protein. You also get complex carb and fiber. If you take legumes like chana and rajma, it may have similar or sometimes a bit more protein, and they also have iron in them. So overall, this is a very nutritious food. Only thing is about the serving size. I would suggest, or we would suggest, have about 50 grams of uncooked dal if you want dal to add to your protein intake. The only thing when cooking dal is you soak it and cook the dal until it's soft and mushy. Now that's all for dal and legumes. It's the cheapest source, decent size protein. The only thing is about serving size. The next section is dairy. In this, we are going to talk about curd and Greek yogurt first. Homemade curd or even just normal curd has about 5 grams of protein per 100 grams. Greek yogurt is a bit concentrated and it has anywhere from 8 to 9 grams of protein per 100 grams. It's easy to consume anywhere from 100 to 150 grams of yogurt in one sitting. So, depending on the yogurt you use, you're easily getting about, once again, 8 to 12 grams of protein in a sitting. Curd and Greek yogurt are the lowest effort ways to get your protein. It's slightly expensive than dal, but in terms of effort, this is none. Basically, you're just putting it in a bowl and eating. If you want to up your protein content with your yogurt or curd consumption, add some roasted chana or peanuts to it to even amplify the protein in it. The next item that we want to talk about in the dairy section is paneer. Paneer is that celebrity vegetarian protein. Per 100 grams of paneer, you are going to get anywhere from 16 to 20 grams of protein, plus fat and calcium. So, because it has fat in it, it makes it very satiating and very filling. Homemade paneer is going to work out cheaper, but store-bought paneer is convenient. If you're going to treat paneer as your protein source, make it count. You can use paneer to make burjis or stuffed parathas, gravies. So make it count. At least consume about 100 grams of paneer in it. Do not just add paneer like a decorative piece like your feta cheese or something. Just make it count by having a good quantity of paneer if you want to treat paneer as your protein source. You do not have to eat paneer on a daily basis, but when you do, it is good to know the serving size that is going to help with your protein intake. The last item we want to talk in the dairy section is milk. Per 100 ml of milk, you'd get anywhere from 3 to 3.5 grams of protein in it. A standard serving, Indian standard serving size is anywhere from 120 to 150 ml. For example, in our filter coffee, we add anywhere from 120 to 150 ml. And I'm guessing in masala chai or anything, it's also similar. So you are going to get about 5 grams of protein per serving of your coffee or tea. This is about 150 ml of milk. Cost per 10 gram of protein in milk does not work out to be as cheap as dal, or it is not as expensive as your fancy yogurt tubs. So it's somewhere in the middle. And don't treat milk as your protein source. Think of it more as a background support. Now that's all in the dairy section. We spoke about curd, Greek yogurt, paneer, and milk. We deliberately didn't talk about cheese because depending on the kind of cheese, some of them are really high in protein and some of them are higher in fats. The next section we want to talk about is soy and higher vegetarian protein options. In this, let's talk about tofu. So, tofu has about 12 to 18 grams of protein per 100 gram. It is often considered as paneer's quiet cousin. Similar to paneer, you can use tofu to make bhurjis or in sandwiches, in gravies, in stir fries, fried rice, so on and so forth. It's very versatile as well. Similar to paneer, but it is not as dense as paneer. So it's not as calorie dense as paneer. Cost wise, tofu sits somewhere between homemade paneer price and store bought paneer price. So it's often cheaper than store bought paneer price. But if you're going to compare it with, let's say, homemade paneer, it's slightly above that or around that. I'm not sure again because this I'm basing all of this based off Sydney calculations. This could be different in other parts of the world. If you've tried tofu and you didn't like it, it is because of the cooking problem, not a tofu problem. I would suggest checking some of the recipes in this channel. I have a fair few of them. Also, if you're cooking tofu for the first time, press it, marinate it, let it sit in the gravy. All of this would make a big difference. The next ingredient we want to talk about is soy chunks. Soy chunks are an overachiever. For 100 grams of dry soy chunks, you're going to get about 50 grams of protein, but you can't consume 100 grams of dry soy chunks. A realistic serving size would be anywhere from 20 to 30 grams of soy chunks. So, for that 20 to 30 grams of soy chunks, you're going to get about 15 to 16 grams of protein. Cost wise, this is going to be one of the cheapest in the list that I've told you so far. However, the flip side is taste, smell, and digestion. So if you're not used to consuming soy product, your tummy might not like it. So you have to introduce them in smaller quantities. What I do is I try to add soy chunks in like pulavs, gravies, or even like cutlets or like patty kind of thing. That makes it a bit more palatable. Also, if you boil them plain and eat them like punishment, they are going to taste like punishment. So if you're not used to large portions of soy, try to introduce them slowly. So what I do is I add them in pulavs, gravies, or even make cutlets. Small to medium portions with good masala works the best for me. The fourth section is nuts, seeds, and snacky boosters. Nuts and seeds are not the cheapest way to get your protein. Also, they are very calorie dense, but they act great as boosters. Now let's talk about peanuts and roasted chana. Peanuts have about 25 grams of protein per 100 gram, whereas roasted chana has about 20 grams of protein per 100 gram. A standard serving size is about 30 grams. So, if you're going to have 30 grams of either peanuts or roasted chana, you're going to get anywhere from 6 to 8 grams of protein in that meal. They not only bring in the protein, they also provide healthy fats and fiber. Now, coming to affordability, they are more affordable than mixed nuts. Having a bowl of roasted chana along with your tea or topping your salad or curd with some peanuts is going to push that meal into a higher protein category. The only things that you need to watch for is calories. Because they have a lot of fat, calories could add up fast. The next is almonds and mixed seeds. About 100 grams of almonds has about 21 grams of protein, but a standard serving size is about 10 to 15 almonds. Now that's going to give about 2 to 3 grams of protein. Similarly, mixed seeds like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds have about 23 to 25 grams of protein per 100 grams. But you're not going to consume one whole bowl of pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds. Maybe a tablespoon as a topping here and there. So I'd like to treat almonds and these seeds more as your nutrient boosters and more as a texture in any of the meal rather than a protein source. They are amazing for healthy fats, vitamin E, zinc, and magnesium, and they make the meals more satisfying. But from a pure protein angle, dal, soy, and curd provide more value. I like to think of nuts and seeds as micronutrients and texture upgrades, not as main protein source.
We have now come to the closing section of this video where we are going to bring it all together and make sense of things. Let me show you a simple vegetarian pattern so all of this means something. This is not a diet plan, just another way to think about your day. For example, if you consume a bowl of dal, and when I say bowl, it's about the serving size that Vaishnavi had talked about earlier in this video, not a liquidy dal, but a thick portion of dal, then you would get about 8 to 12 grams of protein. If you consume a bowl of yogurt, you would get about 8 grams of protein. If you also consume a tofu or paneer or a soy based meal, you would roughly get about 10 grams of protein. For snack, if you consume 30 grams of, let's say, peanuts or roasted chana, you would then get about 4 to 6 grams of protein. We, of course, love our chai or coffee, and so we would get roughly about 10 grams of protein if we have about 250 ml of milk every day. So all of this combined, we get about 40 to 50 grams of protein from the sources that we talked about in this video. Outside of this, we also have things like our rice, atta, and we also have our additional texture upgrades in the form of nuts and seeds. That would again give you about 5 to 10 grams of protein. So all of this combined, we get over 50 grams of protein if we start consuming mindfully and if we use these little hacks to get there. And of course, in order for us to get that protein intake even higher, we even consume whey protein, but hey, that's completely up to you. It's something that you may or may not want to do. This video is simply to help you understand how you can leverage your existing protein sources in order to get the maximum benefit out of it. You do not have to use this exact pattern. Just use this as a template and build your own pattern that works for you, for your family, based on your nutritional needs, based on what your family likes, and your budgetary constraints as well.
We hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you in another one.
Bye.